Another great way of getting yourself out there and generating fantastic PR that not only positions you as an expert in your field, but makes you the go-to authority in your business sector is actually doing advice articles and commentary pieces. So advice and tips are so relevant now, particularly in this online world, because I don't know if you've noticed, but there's an emergence of brilliant publications that are set for all the sectors you can think about. So one of the sectors, for example, that's very prominent in the UK is for small businesses, and there's publications out there called businessadvice.co.uk, Real Business, and they have lots of news stories, but they also have advice and guides because their readers are going on there looking for what they can use, what tips and resources are available to help their business grow and thrive. Now, if you're an expert in your field, which I'm sure you are, think about the advice you can offer. So say, for example, your business is coaching, you're an executive coach. What are the tips to help people reduce their stress in the workplace? What are the tips for people to create the perfect business plan? And what are the publications that you've read that offer those kind of tips that you could get in touch with to offer your expertise, to offer your top 5, to offer your piece? And the thing with advice and guides is journalists are quite welcome, because if you're offering quality content to them for free, they'd be inclined to use it. And the beauty of that is the person reading the publication will think, this person definitely knows their stuff. I'm going to remember this name for the future. The other kind of advice could be if it's advice on a particular issue, it's a call to action, which I think I've mentioned previously, but essentially this piece of coverage was in cityam, which is a London-based paper aimed, clues in the name, at city workers. And essentially my client, who is a stress specialist, says businesses are urged to address the issue of stressed out city workers. So essentially the story with this was the fact that there's quite a macho culture in the city where it's a sense of stress doesn't happen, stress shouldn't happen, it's a sign of weakness. And actually my client wants to dispel that myth and say it's really common. And employers need to realise it's more common than they think, and actually it is affecting their revenue and their bottom line in ways they don't realise, because presenteeism is huge. So people turn up to work, then they're not engaged, they're tired, they're stressed, they'll never admit to stress because of the culture, but they're stressed nonetheless, and it means their productivity drops. So this call to action was totally relevant to that publication. It was a totally relevant story because they're aimed at city workers. This is directly addressing city workers as a whole, and it was addressing an issue that is essentially the elephant in the room when it comes to workers that work in such a high octane, high stressful environment. So that's the kind of thing that it wasn't tips, but it was a strong piece of advice, and it was a call to action. And of course, there's a mention of the fact that my client offers stress resilience techniques. Tips might be, I've mentioned a few already, top tips for if you're a coach. Again, if you're a doggy trainer, the top tips to make your dog kneel. If you've got a cooking business, if you've got a self-catering business, how to adopt a different cuisine by using your kitchen cupboard ingredients. How to buy ingredients that have longevity, how to buy ingredients that, stay in your cupboard and are versatile. Because one of the problems I find, using the example of cooking is, if I want to do something quite exotic, I'll buy the ingredients and never use them after using that one dish because I don't cook enough that cuisine. So think about where your expertise lies. Think about the value you can add to your potential clients and your potential customers, the value you're probably adding every day in conversations with them, and think about how you can turn that into a story. Another example is you might be a florist, and I, for example, really struggle to keep my aloe vera plants alive, so I would be interested in finding out the top tips on keeping your plant alive. Should it be in dark? Should it be in light? How much water is too much water? Whatever you have, don't forget you are an expert in your field, and people come to you for a reason. So you could harness that by finding the guides and finding the publications, and we're going to talk about that as we go on, and actually offering them something that is of real value. And the double whammy is, not only do you get to help people, but you get your name out there for free too.